3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. American Space Discovery clears the tower.
Rockets are pretty cool, but smoke simulations can be a pain in the ass. So in this tutorial, I'll explain how to do a rocket launch smoke simulation. I've got some pre-imported models I will put the link for in the description. I'm assuming you know how to import a model, and if you don't, then please watch a previous video of mine. I'll put the card up top. Now let's add in a cylinder, scale it up on the Y and X axis and on the Z axis a bit as well. Let's put it under our rocket model and let's enable the auto smooth in object data properties and shade smooth. Hit tab to go into edit mode, select the top face and hit I to inset it once and hit I to inset it again and make that very small. Now let's select this face and move it down and shade smooth as well. Add in a bevel modifier and give it 5 segments and pull the interface down some more so we can actually see the curvature. Next, add in a cube. Scale it up on the Z axis until it sort of fits the size of the rocket. This will be the support tower, so make sure it's big enough. Now let's go into edit mode, move our object and make sure the origin is now lined up with the right bottom side of our object. Tap out of edit mode and apply scale with Ctrl A. Move the cube down so it lines up with our rocket again. Now on the 10th frame, add in a rotation keyframe with I. And on the 20th frame, let's rotate our cube and add another rotation keyframe. Now make sure to select both of these keyframes and hit T to choose Bezier and bounce dynamic effect. This will give a springy look to the rotation of our tower. Now, next, let's animate our rocket. On the 30th frame, let's add a location keyframe with I, and on the last frame, which is 250, let's move up our rocket quite a bit and add another location keyframe with I again. Now, select both of these, hit T and choose Bezier for the interpolation, and let's open up the graph editor. We want to make sure our rocket starts off slow and then speeds up constantly. So for the last keyframe, let's select it, let's hit S and choose 0. Now for the first keyframe, let's choose the right handle over here, hit G and X and pull it to the side so we get a nice curve, making sure our rocket is starting slow and increasingly fast. Now we want to also make sure our camera is following along with our rocket. So let's select our camera and go to the object constraint and add a track to object constraint. With the eyedropper, let's select our rocket, and now if we play it back, you should see our camera is following along nicely with the movement of our rocket. With that done, let's finalize iTower. So go into edit mode, hit Ctrl R and add in several loop cuts. Hit A and hit Ctrl T to triangulate our object. Now add in a wireframe modifier, set the thickness to 0.1 and make sure boundary is checked. Now the tower is done and we want to add in our ground plane. So add in a new plane and scale it up until it covers the camera completely. Now let's hit tab to go into edit mode and subdivide it about 100 times. Make sure proportional editing is turned on, as we want to make sure that the flow of the ground plane is actually somewhat unique and interesting. So let's pull the center down so the platform object is no longer colliding with it, and let's just select some of these faces here and just pull these up until you get something interesting. Point of this all being that we want to guide the focal point or the eye of our viewers towards the rocket, so this creates less distraction. Next up is our particle system. So with the ground plane selected, let's add a particle system and set it to hair type. Let's enable advanced and leave everything as is. And now enable rotation, and in the render tab, change it from path to collection. For the collection, let's select our grass collection, which I already imported at the beginning. Make sure you select pick random and change the scale to 1. And I'm going to change the scale randomness to 0.5 because I want some randomness in the grass here, and I'm going to choose object rotation as well. Now in the rotation menu, I'm going to set the rotation randomness to 1, the phase to -1, and the phase randomness to 2, which will generate random rotation for each grass particle, making it look more natural. Now, because these are way too few, I can also increase the number of particles. However, this will be very rough in your computer, and it's easier to use the children setting. So let's go down to children and enable the interpolated children. The viewport number or the render amount are the difference between what you see in your viewport and in the final render. So if I type in 100 as well here, you will see the final amount as in the render. I do think this is still not enough, so let's just increase both of these to 150, and this is looking pretty good. However, this also generated 150,000 objects, which will decrease your computer's speed. So let's just set the viewport back down to 10, so it's nice and responsive. Next, let's add in a circle with Shift A. Go tap into edit mode and hit F to fill the face. This will generate a circular face, which we'll use as the emitter. So shift click on the rocket now and hit Ctrl P to parent it together. And now the emitter will follow our rocket. With the emitter selected, let's go to object and hit quick effects, quick smoke. And this should create a smoke domain as well as adding the smoke effect to our emitter object. Now let's open up a new window here and set it to the properties. And with the smoke domain selected, let's head over to the physics tab and make sure to pin that so we can keep the settings here open at all times. And on the other side, let's open up the emitter properties so we can tweak both of these. Now let's scale up our domain till it's nice and big. Something like this will do for now. And pull it up slightly under our ground plane, like so. And let's go to the end of our animation here, tap into edit mode with our smoke domain, and we want to make sure that the top is above the rocket. So let's just pull this top face up until it's above our rocket, so the entire animation is completely within our domain. All right, now you can reset your smoke domain by tweaking the vision settings, and if I leave it at default, this is how it looks, and it's super basic, super bland, and completely ugly. So let's fix that real quick. Now let's add in a wind force field next. So add it in, pull it up slightly, rotate it 180 degrees, scale it up so you can actually see it. Doesn't do anything else, by the way, just for the visual. And I'm going to increase the strength to 30. And now you will see our grass is changing, and that's because it's being affected by the wind as well. So let's select our ground plane. Let's go into the particle settings again and make sure that the field weights all type is disabled, and this will basically disable the effect of the wind on our grass part. Okay, so now for the emitter again. Let's set our sampling substeps to 2, and let's change it from smoke to fire and smoke, because obviously a rocket is producing fire, so we definitely need that. And let's set the density to 5 here and the field to 2. And I'm going to change the surface emission to 0.5, which will bring the emission of the smoke closer to our emitter object. Now we also want to add in some initial velocity to get some momentum going for our smoke, so do check that box there. The initial source velocity is fine, but I'm just going to increase the Z velocity to -12. And if we play this back, it's starting to look like something already. However, it's still very bland. It's just going down. There's no bouncing from the ground or anything. It's not rising up, and we just need to change some more settings. So let's change the buoyancy density for our smoke domain to 2, and let's add in some vorticity. I'm going to go for 0.4 in this case, and that should do something already, but we also need to make sure that the platform and the ground are both effectors. So with the ground selected, let's add a fluid simulation and change the type to effector and set the surface thickness to 0.5. And let's do the exact same for the platform. 0.5 is necessary for the effector to work, so do make sure to set it to 0.5. Now let's reset our divisions here. I'm just going to up them to 128 to reset our smoke domain. Let's play this back and see how it looks. Okay, so this is looking pretty good, but it also seems like the effectors are not working. And that's probably because they are not well enough within our smoke domain. So we need to change that a bit. And I'm just going to go back into front view real quick and rescale our smoke domain. So let's just scale this on the Z-axis some more until at least the platform entirely is within our smoke domain. And let's reset it real quick by just upping and downing the divisions. And let's replay it again and see how it's working. Okay, so this is looking fine, but it's way too small. It's already reaching the bounce quite fast, so I'm just going to scale it on all axes except the Z one, so S and then Shift Z. And since it's so big now, we will need to enable adaptive domain to make sure our bake times are not incredibly long. And also let's add in a dissolve of about 40, which will make sure our smoke dissolves at some point. And I think this is fine, and we can actually go ahead and bake this. And to do that, we have to go down here and change it from replay to all and just hit bake all. Okay, so this is the bake done. And if we go into render view, you will see nothing. And that's no bueno, and we need to fix that. So how do we fix this? Let's select our smoke domain. Let's go into the materials tab. And as you see, a volumetric material has been added automatically. However, it's not looking too good just yet. So we need to increase the black body intensity to something like 15. This will allow you to see the fire. And let's add in some more density. So let's set it to 10 or so. And finally, we need to change the temperature to match rocket combustion temperatures. And since I have no idea what these are, I'm just gonna look them up on the knower of all truths called Wikipedia. And let's see what it says. It seems like rockets burn with a temperature that's as hot as smashing this subscribe button. And I mean, if Wikipedia says so. No, but for real though, they seem to be burning at temperatures of around 3200 degrees Celsius. So let's make sure we type that in so it actually lines up with reality. And as you can tell, the glow now is very strong, it's very intense, and it really does look similar to a rocket combustion. So let's add in some materials to our other objects. The rocket and the grass assets had some pre-made textures with the models, so I just added those already when importing them. So I won't be going over those. However, let's add to the other objects. So for the tower here, let's add a simple metal shader. I'm gonna call it metal as well. And let's take the base color and make it dark. Crank up the metallic value to 1, and I'm going to set the roughness to 0.35. Now for the ground plane and the platform, I'm going to use Blenderkit Materials. And to use those, you need to go to Preferences and make sure the Blenderkit Library is enabled as an add-on. So you will be able to look up materials. Now let's look them up here. Sometimes the previews don't work, which is pretty annoying, I guess. But however, you just right click while hovering over these, you can see stuff you need to know. So I'm going to be using this one. It's pretty light, 19 MB only. So I'll just click it with the ground plane selected, and it should be automatically added while it's loading. And afterwards, I'm just going to increase the scale to something like 20 so it better fits our scene. Now for the platform, let's do something similar. I'm just going to look up a procedural concrete material, and I'll be using this one. And just click it and it will load, and I'm gonna increase the mapping scale for this one to something like a 3, and that's about it. Now if we go back into rendered view within our camera here, you will see everything is still completely dark, and that's because we need lights, and I deleted the basic one at the start. So let's go over to the world shading here, and let's add in a background node first. And plug that into the surface, and it will be white and very ugly. And if we turn it to gray, it will look like how your scene should look without any other lighting. So let's add a Nishita Sky Texture, and let's set the elevation to 3 degrees so we get a nice dusk or dawn like look. I'm gonna set the ozone to 2, making everything slightly bluer. I like that. And now I want to rotate it for 62 degrees, so it's nicely from the side, and we get this nice rim lighting on our rocket, and I think it looks very cool. However, I do feel like the sky is just plain blue, and I want some clouds in there. I want some more contrast in there, more saturation. So I'm gonna add in an HDRI as well. So add in an environment texture and add in a hue saturation node. Plug these into each other and plug the hue saturation for now into the surface. Now let's open up our HDRI. I will put the link in the description for the one I used. And with the environment texture selected, let's hit Ctrl T. If this does not work for you, go into Preferences and look up the Node Wrangler add-on and make sure it's enabled, and you should be able to get these nodes with Ctrl T now. And now for the mapping, let's line up the sun for both our HDRI and our sky texture. So -35 will about do that, so that's fine. And now let's change the Z location for our texture so we don't get any of the trees and all the other stuff which is in the HDRI in our camera window there. So I'm gonna go for something like a 0.08, which will be fine. Now let's increase the saturation to 1.25, and we will get a very nice blue sky with some very nice white clouds in them. However, we don't get any of the nice lighting from our sky texture. and I want to combine both of those. So I'm going to add in a mix shader next and plug the sky texture in the top one and the environment in the bottom node there. And now you will have a combination both in look and in lighting, which is also a good option, I think, but it's not the one I'm going for. I just want the lighting from the sky texture and the look from the environment. So I'm going to add in a light path node. I'm going to take the is camera ray and plug it into the effector. Now this will allow us to see the HDRI but get the lighting from the sky texture, which is perfect for this setting, and I'm going to use it like so. Now let's make sure everything is set up for rendering. So 30 FPS I got going there, and I'm going to render it out as a PNG sequence so I can stop it and return to it later, because it will take a bit. And I'll be using Blender 3.0 Alpha because render times are way faster. Set the samples to 512, and I have the open image denoise enabled for the render because it's more reliable than the optics denoiser right now. And that brings us to the end result, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something, and if you did, then obviously please leave a like, subscribe, and click on the bell icon. And I hope I see you in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching.